Oh, you sound like a passive-aggressive phone sex worker. You like this?
Is this what you're into?
Is this what you like? Padded Room Podcast, baby doll. We're back. We are back, bitch. For another week of horror, nonsense, news, reviews, maybe a giveaway or something, other festivities involving horror in general. Jason Harrell has made his traumatic return.
I'm in his house.
He made it back, y'all. What's up, Jason?
Oh, how are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm feeling much better this week.
Yeah, you sound much better.
Thank you very much.
I didn't know that AIDS could go into remission.
What you can do is shove a cucumber up your butt.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
Well,
knocks
shit.
it right out of there.
I've already prepared.
Yeah, that's all you need is a cucumber. I don't know if that helped anything or not, but man, did I enjoy that cucumber. No, I'm good, man. I think I'm over it, and the pinched nerve thing seems to have cleared up. I actually went for a run yesterday.
That's been a long haul.
It has. Probably about 5 weeks in total.
Oh, okay.
But I got to keep going to the chiropractor anyway.
Yeah.
So hopefully it doesn't fucking come back.
Yeah.
That's miserable. I don't know if you've ever had that experience.
Oh, yeah.
It's miserable.
I've had all of that good stuff.
Perfect.
You must have forgotten momentarily that I'm completely broken down.
You are 93 years old. I forget sometimes.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
13 years old mentally and 90 years old physically.
You're very spry for a 93, 13-year-old. Right on, man. Well, what did we miss with you? What's new?
Let's see. Since it's been several weeks, we wrapped up Halloween.
Right.
Another successful Halloween come to a close. We had 200 tots, which are trick-or-treaters in the biz.
Okay.
Let's see. We missed seeing you guys come around.
Of course.
What else? In the microseconds of freedom that we have throughout our day, and it is microseconds, we have no time.
Right.
We did celebrate a little Sarahpalooza.
We did. We had a good time.
Got together with you and the rest of the gang and celebrate Sarah's birthday.
Yeah.
And then in the rest of my free time, I've been putting together a completely useless website.
I've seen it.
For no reason at all.
It is completely useless.
Yep. I just wanted somewhere to put files and stuff that I had access to, like wherever I went to. And I'm like, well, fuck, if I've got the web space, I might as well just put nonsense here too.
Put it up there.
Sure.
So at least you know where it is.
Yeah.
Right? And if you need to review, because I know your memory is about 14 minutes long.
Yeah.
And then you completely forget everything. So now if you need to check back on stuff.
I forget some stuff. You can't even remember your own parties. You can't remember showing up to things.
Well, it's because I'm an alcoholic,
oh,
Jason.
Okay.
That's the problem. And not only am I an alcoholic, but I'm a terrible one who completely forgets how to drink.
I don't know. That sounds like a successful alcoholic to me.
I mean, most
You're obviously meeting the goal.
Well, yeah, I meet the goal. It's just way too early in the evening, and then I'm laid out for 3 days after. So I think most real alcoholics just continue drinking on into the next day and the day after and at work and all that.
You need to raise your own personal bar.
I do. I've got
literally a bar.
I should start my own bar for shitty alcoholics.
So for anybody wanting to see the nonsense I spew, JasonTheNerd.com.
You're gonna love it. Go over there and check it out.
You will not love it.
You will. My favorite is the Kindergarten story.
Oh yes, yeah. Feel free to read about me shitting my pants in kindergarten.
You haven't lived until you've shat your pants in kindergarten. That's it. It'll happen, my friend. Nothing to be ashamed of. Well, dude, we got a regular horror show to get into here, amigo. We got horror news, listener mail,
the
regular shenanigans that you missed so much. Here comes some horror news.
Horror news.
What you got for me, man?
Very little.
Okay.
And I mean my penis.
Well, I knew that.
I hear that Welcome to Derry is going to be based in the 60s and will also include an origin story for Pennywise.
Very cool. Now, this is the It prequel series ordered by HBO Max.
Yep. Still unsure if Skarsgård is going to be joining up, which would really stink.
I kind of hope he doesn't.
Do you?
I mean, I don't. I have nothing against him. I thought he was a great Pennywise.
Yeah.
But let's not cheapen what we had with Pennywise. You know what I mean? I mean, the beauty of Stephen King is that he builds these elaborate plots, and oftentimes they become distracting. Take for example Cujo. I know you're not literate, but I'll give you a brief snapshot.
Rabbit,
the thing with the dog and the kid in the car, that's like the last 2 chapters. Up to that point, it's all this cheating whore wife with the tennis coach and the family drama that she's trying to get rid of him, but he won't fuck off, and she feels really guilty about that.
Doesn't sound like much of a story.
It's not, but lightly dusted into that is, the dog got bit by the bat, and now he's starting to get a little woozy. And now he's getting more aggressive, and nobody's paying attention, and the family that owns the dog is going away.
No wonder his shit's like 1,000 pages.
It's always
because he's drawing everything out.
He does, but in his defense, these are usually very compelling stories. And, oftentimes I will forget that there is a fucking vampire or an alien or whatever the shit the problem is. Oh, well, let me find out if he's going to catch her cheating or not. Yeah. You know, that's what I really want to know.
I did actually get 400-plus pages into Insomnia.
Okay.
And just stopped.
I could not. I tried, and I did the Audible, where you drive around.
Oh
and listen
my
to
gosh! I've listened to one book on tape.
Yeah,
whatever the hell you want to call it. That bored the shit out of me.
I tried Insomnia. I got about halfway through because, from what I understand, that's like the beginning of the Dark Tower series.
Oh, really?
Or that's like one of the focal points. It's something that happens in Insomnia.
Yeah.
I just couldn't, man. Guy beats the shit out of his wife, and. I just kind of lost interest. You know, I can't.
I get you.
All right.
Last thing I got is Terrifier 2 possibly submitted for an Oscar nomination.
Oh, good Lord.
Now,
in what category?
Well, the thing is that there's no way it's going to be actually nominated.
No, of course not.
But it can be put up for consideration. And I think it's just out of being funny.
Okay.
I think they did it just because.
Just like an FU to the Academy?
Sure.
Yeah, I get it.
Or it'd be really great if they actually have to watch
that would be
the nominee.
Suck on that, you movie snobs.
Yeah, that's all I got.
All right. Well, first off, before we move past Terrifier 2, why is there not a horror category for the Oscars? There never has been.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, even when I think Silence of the Lambs won something. Didn't it win Best Picture or something like that?
I believe so.
They refused to call it a horror movie.
Crime drama.
Yeah, they called it like a crime drama or some shit. The guy gets eaten in that movie, you motherfuckers. All right, anyway, Neil Marshall, you know the name. You probably don't know the face. He is on board to direct a new horror series called Nightshade. It's still up for distribution, hasn't actually started principal photography yet, but he does good work. Dog Soldiers, Descent, other movies that I'm sure were pretty good. I don't know if he had any. I think he was like executive producer on Descent too. But anyway, I'm into it.
You know, that's a topic for discussion there is like when you say buy these Blu-rays and on the front it's like from the producers of or presented by.
Yeah.
Doesn't that just mean they threw money at it?
That doesn't mean shit. That does not mean a fucking thing at all.
Okay.
Case in point.
Just making sure. That's what I was thinking.
There's a ridiculous fucking movie out there that I think was supposed to be a remake of Carnival of Souls. It's called Carnival of Souls. It stars Shawnee Smith and stand-up comedian Larry Miller. And it says, Wes Craven presents Carnival of Souls. Mm-hmm. This is the worst movie I've ever seen in my life. And I was actually at a film convention when somebody stood up and asked him about it. He had no knowledge of Carnival of Souls at all. He's like, what? No, I don't know. And there was the guy that was there had a poster, and it said, Wes Craven presents Carnival of Souls.
You could probably have money in like a production company.
Yeah.
You could be like just a mild contributor.
Yeah.
And if that, throws money at a project, I guess it is presented by you.
Right. So they could just like backdoor your name in there.
Sure.
And you're in, dude.
You had me at backdoor.
Backdoor, baby. Woo! What else we got here? Speaking of backdoors, Margot Robbie, her Pirates of the Caribbean movie has been canceled.
Okie doke.
Now, I wasn't upset at this. It was, from what I gathered, it was supposed to be like a Pirates of the Caribbean adjacent film. So probably no Johnny Depp or Jack Sparrow.
Oh, yeah.
But this was going to be in the same universe of some kind, and female pirates.
Yeah.
I would like to see Margot Robbie in some kind of a pirate ensemble. We may have just unlocked a new kink for Derry.
More importantly, I think you'd like to see her pirate's booty.
That too.
Yeah.
Well, there's other movies where that's available. Smile, the movie, is now streaming on Paramount Plus.
Saw that before I came over here.
Yeah?
Well, not the movie, but the advertisement.
Oh, did you see the movie?
No.
Me neither.
Now I'm absolutely going to watch it.
I will probably check it out tomorrow.
I was going to do a day one purchase on it, but I'm really happy to see that it's streaming.
Yeah, let's show some restraint there, Mr. Harrell. I know you got your debit card in your hand.
I hear good things.
You're itching for a steelbook or a limited release or something with a poster. God damn it!
Don't judge me.
Kevin Smith is teasing plans for Red State 2.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know how he pulls that off.
It would be horrible.
Well,
I just don't. I don't think that lightning could strike twice in the same place, man.
Michael Parks is dead.
I really like, and that's actually a movie I keep forgetting about. I think it got a very limited release on Blu-ray.
Oh,
and I think it's kind of costly now if you want to pick it up. I definitely want to. I'd love to revisit that.
Yeah, it's a great show. I don't know. I mean, you can't bring Michael Parks back or his character. I don't know where you go with it.
Yeah, I don't know where you could possibly take that.
I feel like, I mean, in today's political climate and Kevin Smith being known for laying it on pretty thick with the politics, I mean, it was at least tasteful in Red State. You know, you could see some shit like that happening.
Yeah.
This time he might just fucking go balls out with it.
Yeah, he's kind of tilted over a certain direction pretty hard.
Oh yeah.
So it's all I can do to be Team Kevin Smith anymore.
Yeah.
I am really excited about Clerks 3 though.
Okay, good for you.
Have that steelbook already pre-ordered.
Of course you do. I knew it. That's all we got on the horror news, my man. How about some listener mail?
Aye.
Listener mail.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be a short one tonight, dude. Let's start things off. Over in jolly old England, here comes Kat, the horror slut.
Chip, chip.
Subject line, questions. Evening, gent, or possibly gents. I do hope you and your family are feeling better and that you have some company tonight. I do, Kat, actually. Thank you very much for that. As for your questions about all the agents in the movie, I thought they were mostly Chrome Skull's employees and that it was just because he was extremely rich. I didn't really think much into it, which probably made the movie more enjoyable for me. I may have to work on some thank you bribery, and am possibly thinking something in red. I like the sound of that. I hope everyone has a safe and healthy week. Kat. Jason?
Yes?
Without punching me in the face.
Oh, jeez.
Did you watch the Laid to Rest movies?
I watched the first one.
Okay. Did you watch the second one?
Nope.
Okay.
I would have if I would have been showing up.
Okay.
Despite my better judgment.
How mad are you at the first Laid to Rest movie?
I wasn't mad at it. It's not what I would call good.
Okay.
It has Grand Canyon size holes in it.
Of course.
It has a lot of just irrational nonsense.
Right.
You seem to like it significantly more than me.
So the beauty of Laid to Rest.
I like the kills. It had some really good kills.
Oh, yeah, definitely. The beauty of Laid to Rest for me, I think Kat kind of summed it up nicely. Turn your brain off, watch the slasher, don't ask questions. And you kind of have to put the visor of 2008 on it, too. Like with the weird text messaging devices and the GPS things. And
that dude's camera was fucking ridiculous.
Oh, yeah. Great
it was like he had a Betamax recorder mounted to his shoulder. I forgot all about that thing.
With the viewfinder on the entire time.
The entire time.
As if, like, to put a neon sign on
Guy
his back.
got incredible battery life.
He did.
And then...
Well, the funny part, though, is every time it went to, like, found footage, the battery light was flashing.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to die any second now.
And then, like, I remember one part where the chick was, like, she was trying to use the camcorder, and she opened it up and was going to put batteries in it, and it was just like 2 AA batteries.
Yeah, that's it.
Never seen a camcorder with 2 AA batteries.
Nope. If
it's out there, I want it. It's got to go in the collection.
Yep, I'm sure there is one somewhere.
But getting back to it,
it's so here's the problem. First one, okay, not the best thing I've ever seen, but pretty good kills. Mindless slasher. All right. Second one, I felt like they tried to answer every single possible question you could have about the first one by blowing it up to this global conspiracy level with this weird mega corporation and all this. It comes down to a stripper and a psycho in a skull mask.
If you had the ability to make a movie, wouldn't you want to make a universe?
Well, sure.
Of course.
Sure. I don't know that I would go from acid face in a gas station to tinfoil hat land.
Sure.
You know, that's a bit of a leap in one movie.
Well, you know, he was probably wrestling with the kind of idea that he wouldn't get a chance for a third, so he really wanted to just shoehorn in everything.
Well, he didn't.
No, he definitely didn't.
He died.
He ate it, yeah.
All right. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed. You're probably right, Kat. I'm thinking way too much about Chrome Skull Laid to Rest, too. But thanks for writing in. Back here to Reno, Nevada. Here comes the cowboy. Subject line, peekaboo. Evening padded room. Darian, I hope you and yours are feeling better and that you got someone in tonight. If not, I still enjoy the solo shows, and it's easier to peek in as the windows aren't as steamed up. Ha-ha. Next Terradome fights are looking really good. With that, I want to mention the Predators have thermal vision and the brides are cold and dead. Just something to think about. As Educate with Off-Season, I did watch the trailer and read up on it while looking for Lovecraftian movies, and I do think it's a fantastic movie. This week, are you Dementia 13? Oh, and when you read your clues, can you lean a bit to the left, please? It helps me see from the outside. You got me, cowboy. I am Dementia 13. Well done. I feel like that was a layup. Have you seen Dementia 13, Jason?
I have it. I've never seen it.
I'm sure you've seen it. It's Francis Ford Coppola's first movie.
It was part of a Vestron
box set,
like series that was still is being produced.
Nice.
And so I picked it up, but I've yet to watch it.
You'll probably like it. Very cerebral. Back to my 12-hour day. Hope everyone has a great week. Catch you on the flip, cowboy. Right on, cowboy. Thanks for writing in. And that is all we have for listener mail, my friend. Anything for Cat or cowboy?
Just love.
Love and hugs and kisses.
And all the sweetest things.
All righty. I guess it's time to get into a movie, amigo. You're probably wondering what the fuck movie we're doing this week, because that trailer was just a lot of breathing and door slamming. We're doing Hush. It's from 2016, written and directed by Mike Flanagan, starring Kate Siegel, Jason Harrell. Now,
your favorite. I'm being facetious.
I don't mind her. I'm not mad at her.
Yeah, but you generally make a dig every time you talk about a Mike Flanagan.
No, well, yeah, a little bit.
She's got way more chops. I can understand him putting her in his movies.
Okay.
Way more than Rob Zombie putting Sheri Moon Zombie in his movies.
Here's my stance. What other reason would you have for getting into film directing other than to get on top of hot chicks?
I don't know.
Exactly.
Making something cool?
Well, no. Well, yes, but on top of a hot chick. Why would you not put said hot chick in the movie, especially if she can't act? So I guess I just don't understand why Flanagan gets a free pass and Rob Zombie doesn't.
Because Sheri Moon Zombie can't act worth the shit.
Sure she can.
Come on, dude.
Sure.
Look.
What?
I will come to his defense frequently.
Okay.
However, let it be said.
All right.
She cannot act.
What? Give me an example of her bad acting.
House of a Thousand Corpses.
What's wrong with that?
Way over the top.
She was supposed to be. She's playing a psycho.
No, but again, it's the Franklin effect.
Oh God.
There is
the Heather Donahue.
There
effect.
is playing it for effect, and then there's just being extra.
Okay. Well, in that context, are we going to attribute that to her or to him giving her direction to play it up?
No, her delivery is shit too.
I disagree.
Her delivery of her lines at the opening of Halloween, completely flat. What it is it sounds exactly like her. It sounds like she's reading some lines.
Right.
It's very flat. It's very Sheri Moon Zombie presenting lines.
Okay.
Almost everything, really, with the exception of maybe Lords of Salem. She does okay in there.
Oh.
She's decent enough in Munsters, which is fucking terrible, by the way.
I haven't seen it, yeah.
Oh, it's so bad.
Really?
We didn't laugh once.
Well, I heard you have to be like a Munsters dork.
Not even remotely true. I like the Munsters. This does nothing. In no way, shape, or form.
Nothing at all?
No, it spits on
wow.
Munsters fandom.
Wow.
I think. He's no Herman.
All right. I'm sorry that Fred Gwynn is dead. But we have to move on, Jason. All right, anyway.
Just bury his ass in the graveyard.
Boys down the lane getting real right out. Kate Siegel, Michael Trucco, and John Gallagher Jr. So, that being said, this is a standard home invasion movie with a few tweaks. And I think some of them worked and some of them didn't so much.
Okay.
We're going to start off out in the woods. We've got a young lady. Now, this is one of the things that I really love about Flanagan. Mm-hmm. The Flaniverse, as it's called.
Yeah.
Which is kind of, I don't know, it makes it sound vaguely Filipino or something. All these things kind of tie in a weird, roundabout kind of a way. This young lady is an author. Her name is Maddie Young. Mm-hmm. And we're probably not going to know that name just yet, but we'll get into how she fits into things here in a few minutes. She is deaf and mute, so she cannot hear or speak. But she is some kind of an accomplished author, which is kind of cool. She's trying to make dinner for herself. So the thing about this movie is that we go long expanses of the film with zero dialogue and like zero sound for that matter. I read that Flanagan added in like ambient sound just to kind of add some tension here and there, but I didn't really catch any of it. Did you?
No.
I mean maybe like the crickets chirping or something on the outside or something like that.
It just, everything kind of seemed natural.
Yeah, but I felt like he maybe turned it up a little bit here and there. Either way, it's not like obnoxious. She's trying to get dinner ready. Pretty soon her next door neighbor comes over, and it's a hot young redhead named Sarah. And they kind of chatted up a little bit. They're using sign language to speak, and we learn that Sarah lives, she says next door, but in this country, foresty kind of a setting, that's probably at least a quarter mile away, right?
At least a good little hop up.
Yeah.
I didn't recognize her at first. Sarah pointed out that the character Sarah was the nun-like lady from Midnight Mass.
The nun-like. Oh, the cunty one?
The cunty one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. She's way hotter in this movie. The one in Midnight Mass. Ah.
Man, does she play a good bitch, though.
She does, though. Look out. We'll get to that in a second. Anyway, they come up and they're talking, and this is where we find out that Maddie Young, played by Kate Siegel, is actually the author of Midnight Mass, which is pretty cool.
It is.
Now, this is, 3 years before the Netflix series? 4 years?
Yeah.
And they're already talking about characters that we're going to meet in that series. As soon as she brought up Aaron and Riley, I was like, Flanagan, you motherfucker, you got me again. I don't know how he did it, but he fucking backdoored me or something. Because Riley and Aaron are major characters in Midnight Mass. And I wonder, it makes you wonder, is this all part of one big blueprint, or is he just bullshitting his way through this and making it up as he goes?
It works.
It does. I
don't know, but I love it.
I wish I had the capacity to come up with that. If I had to make my own Darien verse,
yeah,
it would be mostly porno. I'll tell you right now. So that's kind of cool. And she's talking about the ending and things like that. And she loved the book, which is pretty cool. So after a few minutes, we forgot that we left the sauce cooking or whatever. Mm-hmm. The smoke alarm goes off. And because Maddie is deaf, it's like a whole rave goes off in her kitchen all of a sudden.
Yeah,
the lights.
It's like a klaxon.
Total klaxon. You took the words right out of my mouth. I was just thinking of klaxon. Strobe lights and buzzers and all kinds of shit. They go running inside, and it's not really a fire. It's just some food burning. But they get it sorted out. Sarah's like, oh my God, sorry about dinner. Why don't you come over and hang out with us? And she's like, no, I got to get back to writing. So Sarah takes off and goes walking through the woods. Now, it's not dark yet, so we're not that creeped out just yet, except that Maddie is all alone in this very nice house in the middle of the woods.
Way too many windows.
A lot of windows in this place, but I guess that kind of lends itself to the scenery. So Maddie goes about, making herself a snack and then kind of checking out, trying to get back into the writing, and she can't. I guess she was writing a sequel to Midnight Mass, maybe?
I'm not sure.
Because, as she's writing, you see the names Aaron and Riley come up, but she's got multiple different endings written for this book, and she can't figure out which one she wants, I think.
I can't remember character names and shit like that.
Of course.
So, while I got the reference of the Midnight Mass book,
right,
the names are completely lost.
Okay. Well, those are two of the main characters in the series.
So it's funny because I've watched it 2 or 3 times now.
I think I've watched it twice.
Yeah.
God, that's a good one.
It is.
Give me a quick power ranking on the Mike Flanagan Netflix series.
Midnight Mass, number 1.
Right.
Haunting of Hill House, number 2.
Okay.
Bly Manor, 3.
Okay.
Is that it?
I think that's it.
Okay.
And then we're supposed to get a House of Usher, I think, next year.
Okay.
I go probably Haunting of Hill House, Midnight Mass, Bly Manor. That would be my...
Hill House was great, but it kind of farted out at the end for me.
That episode 6, man. I will shit my pants to the... I know it's coming. And I will still take a dump right in my pants. You know exactly what I'm talking about if you've seen it.
A Kindergarten.
Anyway, so she goes on. I guess she's got a boyfriend, or maybe she was getting out of an abusive relationship or something. That she has a love interest that is trying to Skype her. And for a second, she's like, oh, let me talk to him. But then no. And then she kind of moseys around for a minute. And she's like, I'm going to call him back. But then it rings twice and she hangs up on him. I don't know what's going on with this dude. His name is Greg. I think
that's all we get.
He was probably part of the reason that she left the city.
Yeah.
Because she mentioned in a conversation she's going to have with her sister here in a few minutes, she says straight up that she didn't leave the city by choice. She didn't choose to be isolated. She had to leave the city, and that's why she's out there in the woods. So I think that there may have been something there. I'm not trying to read too much into it or anything. Anyway, As this is happening, unfortunately, Sarah comes running up to the window, beaten and bloodied, and she's banging on the windows for Maddie to let her in. Maddie is casually going about her business as this is happening. We see the person chasing Sarah. Here comes our slasher dude, our assailant, if you will. What did you think of this dude, Jason? Initially? Yeah.
Love the face.
The mask.
I love the mask.
Okay.
I mean, a little foreshadowing here. I'm actually disappointed that goes away.
Me too. The mask that he wears, I would call it a very nonchalant mask. It's basically just a blank white, kind of disinterested looking face is the only way I can describe it. Which kind of adds like a nice juxtaposition because when he chases Sarah down and stabs the living piss out of her right there in front of Maddie's window with just this kind of ho-hum look on his mask face.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah, it's very cool. Stabs the crap out of her, leaves her there dead, and then just kind of stares at Maddie for a few minutes. Maddie, of course, is completely oblivious to all this, so she goes on about writing and doing some household chores and pondering getting back with her ex, possibly, or whatever the fuck that situation was about. Has a Skype call with her sister. Sister comes in. So, am I correct in assuming that Maddie could read lips over Skype, and that's how she understood what her sister was saying? Or was her sister using sign language?
I think both.
Okay.
I think she was signing and speaking,
but
she can read lips because she eventually tells the bad guy that she can read lips.
So while that's going on, her sister's like, hey, who's that behind you?
Yeah.
And then Maddie's like, what? I don't know.
It's probably the bitch cat.
Probably the bitch cat. She has a cat literally named Bitch, which is unfair to the cat. We don't even know if that cat's a female, Jason.
Yeah, if you're going to call it anything, call it pussy.
Puss or cunt. Anyway, she's like, oh, it's probably just a cat. Let me let you go, and I'm going to go feed the cat. So then she gets her little cat food tray, and she walks around shaking it, which is like, that's how she calls the cat, tell the fucking cat to come eat. Cat never shows up. So she's like, all right, fuck yourself, fucking cat. Puts the food down and goes back to her writing. Pretty soon she's getting Skype messages, or I guess text messages from her own cell phone.
Yeah, like iMessages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going to her computer.
Yeah, from her own phone, from herself to her account on her Mac.
Right. Yeah. And it's pictures of her as she was walking around trying to feed the cat. So somebody's got her phone and is taking pictures of her and now sending them to her. So she's officially freaked out.
The messages are coming from inside the house.
Inside the house! She's walking around. She's all freaked out. She gets to the front door, and the fucking thing is open. She's like, oh, shit, what's going on here, Jason Harrell? She comes around the corner, and there's our bad guy standing right out there, holding her phone like, I got your phone. As far as slashers go, like, this guy is fairly unthreatening, aside from the mask, I would say.
Yeah.
He looks like he just got off a skateboard in 1993. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jeans, jacket. He's got a knife on him. Wearing the mask. He's got a beanie on. Neck tattoo. Who doesn't have a neck tattoo these days? He's like, I got your phone here. And she's like, but she runs up and locks the door on him. So from there, we begin our cat and mouse game. And there's a lot going on here that I cannot do justice to in the mode of just me telling you about it, because there's a lot of atmospheric stuff.
Yeah.
Naturally, his first move is to cut the power. So she's running around in the dark. Then he disables her Wi-Fi, so she can't use the computer. Now she's all kinds of freaked out, as she should be. Now, at this point, this is when the question I have to ask you, Jason. Say you're a home invader. At what point do you just apologize and fuck off? Because this guy took a beating and lost some very expensive weaponry. At some point, you just have to say, I'm going to call this one a wash, and I'm going to be on my way. I'm sorry for the inconvenience and for wasting your time. I will send you a check for the windows.
At a point in the movie, kind of deeper into the movie, he even recognizes his own shortcomings.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he knows he's a wuss.
Yeah.
But given his victims the element of surprise.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still got the upper hand.
He does, but...
or he at least should.
She puts a pretty good beating on him.
Yeah.
You know, and there is a lot of... I would say up until, the very end, she's probably winning the fight. Mm-hmm. You know? Just in this... using her little hit-and-run tactics, or supposed... whatever you want to call it, you know? Anyway, we'll get back to that as we go on. So he's walking around the perimeter of the house. And there's like this kind of funny scene where she's like following him from window to window, locking every window behind him. A good rock is going to get you inside that place.
Yeah, and even he said that.
I can come in
He's
anytime
like,
I want.
I can come in whenever I want.
But I'm going to walk about 18 more laps around the outside first.
Yeah, I didn't really get the point of that.
Me neither. I think he had a Fitbit on. He wanted to get his steps in. It's the only thing that makes sense to me. Anyway, at one point she's like, okay, I'm gonna finagle my way out of it. So she grabs some lipstick and she writes on a window, haven't seen your face, boyfriend's coming home soon, just fuck off, or something like that.
Yeah.
And then she kind of flashes the light at him and he comes up and looks at it and he takes his mask off. Mm-hmm. Now you've seen my face.
And which I really, really like. I like that she said that. I like that he was so brazen that he revealed himself.
I like that too.
But I didn't like that he didn't go back to the mask. Because he's a lot wussier.
Yeah. He looks like somebody that I could probably take in a fight.
Plus, I don't know. He's like a really good guy in 10 Cloverfield Lane, and I really like the guy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, it's that guy. I like that guy.
He's all right.
You're not fooling me with a neck tattoo.
What's he doing out here with the knife and a mask? Get out of here. I get it. Yeah, you could have found somebody much more intimidating than that dude. That guy, like I said, looks like he just got off a skateboard.
Yeah. So if he would, I really, really wish he would have went back to the mask for the remainder of the film.
Yeah. Or maybe just move that closer to the end. Mm-hmm. You know, the unmasking part. We're only like half hour in at this point. The mask is already off.
Yeah.
And he is now walking hot laps around. He's got a crossbow. Pulls out a crossbow on your bitch ass. Look out, man. He's walking around. He's, banging on the windows. Eventually she hatches this ingenious idea that she is going to make a run for it because she is just kind of walking with him around the house so she can clearly see where the house is pretty much made of glass.
Yeah, it is.
So she can just see where he is at any given time and be like, oh, he's over there. I'm going to come over here and be on my merry way. Mm-hmm. But she can't hear anything, and that's a problem. And she can't – it's okay that she can't talk really, but she can't hear like when he's running at her or anything like that.
Well, what I do like is that as a victim who is deaf, you have no idea how much noise you're generating in your attempt to sneak away.
Very true.
Especially with all those fucking leaves around.
Yeah, out in the woods.
Yeah.
Very true. So she tries to make a run for it, ends up having to duck underneath the front deck of her house. Mm-hmm. He goes up there. She can feel the vibrations in the wood as he's walking around. Very, very cool. So at least she knows he's up there. He catches her. She runs back in the house. All that's pretty scary. And from there's a lot that I have to kind of blow past because there's a lot of her setting off her own car alarm, and that kind of throws him off for a minute. Her trying to get a knife and things like that. Very cool. At a certain point, she realized, actually, she doesn't realize it. He takes the dead body of Sarah and starts fucking with her. Yeah. He's holding up dead Sarah and banging on the window. Now you're just being an asshole. You know what I mean? Yeah, you killed Sarah. If you wanted to kill me, why don't you just come in here and do it, you fucking asshole. But now she realizes that Sarah's dead. That's very sad and stuff. And he left Sarah's body bent over a dumpster, I think, right outside of a window. So she, again, is timing him as he goes through there. At one point, he is supposed to be on the other side of the house. So she leans out of the window and starts rifling through Sarah's pants, hoping to find a cell phone. He catches her doing it, of course, and goes running over. And I think slashes her hand or something like that. Or no, this is when she hits him in the face with a hammer. He's trying to pull her out. She grabs the hammer and smacks, or no, she hits his hand and busts his hand open. I think it was with the hammer, wasn't it?
Can't recall.
She busts his hand open somehow.
Because I know there's one part where he closes her hand in a window or a door.
That is probably the most painful looking handbrake.
Oh, that's towards the end.
That's pretty gnarly. We'll get to that in a second. Yeah. That's ridiculous. But she busts his hand open, and that's pretty bad. And at this point, he's still walking around fucking with her. Again, I can come in anytime I want and kill you. Okay, I don't know what the fucking holdup is then. Sarah's boyfriend comes over, who is a big, strapping dude.
Yeah.
I'd be scared of Sarah's boyfriend. I think his name was John or something like that. He comes over. He sees the house is pitch black. He's like, hey, Maddie, you in here? What's going on? Maddie can't hear him because he's like out at the front. Here comes our home invader, runs up and he's like, hey, get your hands where I can see him. He's doing basically in a rather ingenious move, I thought, pretending to be a police officer responding to a call.
Yeah. John was a little too quick to buy that story, though.
Yeah.
Especially when kind of seeing him.
Yeah. You're a skater with a neck tattoo.
You're a skater with a neck tattoo.
You fucker.
Yeah.
But John gets kind of wise to him because he's like, oh, I was responding to a call. It looks like the power's out and there's nobody here. And he's like, hey, I'm just looking for my girlfriend, Sarah. I thought maybe she came here, but then I got here and saw this. As this conversation goes on, Jonathan quickly is like, this guy's a little fruity, and I'm not buying this police officer bit. But then the home invader guy pulls out, he takes John's phone, and he's going to, quote-unquote, use it to call for backup. Mm-hmm. He makes a very bogus phone call. I got a 1019 on a 412. I'm going to need a couple cars out here.
Worst like fake numbers ever.
Yeah, I've got
a 417-849.
I got a 49er on a 1 Adam 12. Make that an extra large to go. But when he puts John's phone in his pocket, when he takes it back out to give it to him, Sarah's necklace pops out and hits the deck. Mm-hmm. That's when John sees it, and he's like, oh, what the fuck is this? So John quickly surmises that he needs to take this guy down. So he's like, hey, I think Maddie keeps a hidden key in this planner over here. You should check that out. So he's like, oh, yeah, great. I'll just go digging through the planner here. And then John picks up a rock like he's about to bust him in the head. And that's when Maddie pops out. And she's like banging on the window. And John gets stabbed right in the neck. That was pretty cool. What was even thought it was kind of cool, too. He's like, hey, it's done. You don't need to fight. You're going to be dead in 3 minutes.
I mean, my chance of beating you in a fair fight, next to none.
He's like, you're a big dude. Okay,
I didn't stand a chance.
I had to kill you, and I'm sorry. There's no point in getting a fight now.
I'm a skater with a neck tattoo.
That's all I am, and I got the drop on you there. So let's just take it easy. John grabs him anyway, and he's like wrestling him to the ground as he's bleeding out. Mm-hmm. Maddie sees this, and she's like, what am I going to do? What should I do? So instead of running, she just kind of plays out all these scenarios in her head. And I thought this part was pretty cool. Now, we did glaze past the part where she gets up on the roof and she's about to make a getaway up there, but then he shoots her in the leg with the crossbow. She makes it up the trestle and back into the attic. And he chases her, but once he gets up there, she grabs the crossbow away from him and then kicks him off the roof. Yeah. Now, if she knew, unfortunately, I'm guilty of this. If somebody handed me a crossbow and said, kill that zombie, it's like a bow and arrow, right? You just pull, or how does that work? I don't know. She doesn't know either. So she's fucking around trying to load this thing while he's coming in the window. But at least she has a crossbow now. That's the good news. The bad news is she got shot right in the leg with it. Mm-hmm. And I guess she's bleeding pretty heavily.
Yeah, she's bleeding out.
We get a very Rambo-esque scene of her tourniqueting her leg there. Pretty gnarly. So that happens. He kills John. She's thinking to herself, I can't run because I'm limping and I don't really know where I'm going. And I'm deaf, and I can't hear if he's running up on me, so that's a bad idea. And she's like visualizing all this in her head as she's doing it.
Yeah, in the very beginning of the movie, Sarah is talking to her about how do you come up with the endings of your story. And she says, well, my mom calls it like writer's brain. She says, I'm able to see all of the possible outcomes of a story. Mm-hmm. And then I obviously go with the one that makes the most sense and is the best ending. So that's how she like visualizes all of these endings.
Yeah. So one is her running, in which case he tackles her and beats her to death with a rock. Mm-hmm. The other one is her hiding under the deck again, in which case he just drags her out. Mm-hmm. The other one is her just waiting him out, in which case she just bleeds out in a bathtub. Basically, there's only she runs herself through all these ideas, and the only one that comes to mind is, well, I'll just kill him.
Yep,
that makes sense to me.
Only one thing I can do, kill him.
Yep, I'm going to kill him. So John is outside, still strangling this prick. Unfortunately, John expires, and the prick gets away. But just as he's getting up and like catching his breath and going through John's pocket, Maddie runs out there with the crossbow and shoots him right in the shoulder with it. And she's like, "Gotcha, fucker!" And he's like, "Ah, you bitch!" And then he starts running, and she's like, "Shit, I forgot how to do this." So she just drops the crossbow. Or no, she takes the crossbow with her, but she drops her last arrow as she's going in the kitchen door, the slider. So she reaches out to grab the arrow, and that's when he slams her hand in the door and then stomps on it and basically breaks her hand into 50,000 pieces.
Yeah. That's a good-looking broken hand.
That looked extremely painful.
Yeah.
Fingers are not supposed to go in those directions. I can tell you that. They're not supposed to.
She would make an excellent, like, crip. Because it looked like she was just throwing gang signs. She could throw up
all kinds of... She is hardcore, that one. Don't fuck with that bitch. Anyway, she's like, and at this point, like, the blood loss is kicking in. It's getting even worse. He's got an arrow poking out of his shoulder, so he's all pissed off now. And his hand is jacked up. He's like, "I can kill you anytime I want." So she just, like, writes on the window, "Just get in here and do it then, you piece of shit." I'm paraphrasing, obviously. So he's like, "Urgh!" So he goes and gets a tire iron and starts smashing away at the window. Apparently, this is like
that window
shatterproof glass.
It's fucking rock solid, man.
You need like an impact hammer or something, because that tire iron
took a beating.
Ain't doing shit.
But he is kind of a dweeb.
He is, and I don't think he worked out very much other than riding a skateboard. She runs upstairs to the bathroom and barricades herself in there. Before she does, though, she types on her last ending of the book she was writing, "White male, 5'2", green eyes, neck tattoo, I died fighting," and then she closes the laptop. Runs upstairs, barricades herself in. Now, I'm a little shady on this part, but did he pop out of the bathtub? It seemed like it.
Came through the bathroom window.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, it's actually one of my favorite scenes.
Okay.
Because she's sitting there waiting for him to come through the door.
Yeah.
She has no idea that the window's being broken out behind her, so you see the glass kind of artistically falling behind her, making no noise.
Right.
And then that's when he makes his move on her. Well, actually, he starts talking behind her, and that's how she feels like the air brushing on her hair.
Right. So he gets behind her. I think he was in the bathtub. And he's like...
Yeah, he lowered down into the bathtub.
Yeah. "I bet if I hit you in the right spot, I could make you scream, even though you're mute." And then just like on the T in mute, the hair on the back of her neck gets blown. And she just does like a quick side bendy, and then into a wheel roundhouse stab.
Foot.
Cacao! And catches him right, like it looked like in the inner thigh.
Yeah.
Which would be a good place because that's where a major artery is. She immediately just jumps up and hauls ass out of there. Slams the door behind her. He's like, "Ah!" She's running down the stairs. This is when the blood loss finally catches up to her. She makes it to the kitchen, manages to set off the smoke alarm, which I guess is just a manual thing. You can just throw the switch. And then he comes down after her, and now we get this very climactic scene of him choking her out and her losing consciousness, and at the last second reaching for a corkscrew and jamming it into his neck. And that's pretty much the end of your movie. She lays there for like another 30 seconds regaining consciousness, and then she goes out to the porch, and that's when you see all the sirens coming up and the flashing lights and all that stuff. What did you think of Hush, my man?
Love it.
It's a good show, right?
It's really good. Very, very pleased. This is my second viewing. Liked it even more than the first time. It really irks me that all these damn Flanagan movies are not available to buy.
I got a guy for you.
I know you got a guy.
I got a guy. He's a guy.
But in legitimate fashion,
you can't buy Hush.
No.
Really?
No.
Fuck. Okay.
Netflix only. Just
fuck
like
that.
Midnight Mass.
I hate that, man.
He's even said that he like in a conversation or a tweet or something, he had said something about he himself wishes that his movies
physical
would be
releases.
released on physical media.
Yeah, me too. I could have swore I saw a Haunting of Hill House.
They may have done the first one.
Yeah,
but I think Netflix has learned, just like with Stranger Things.
Yeah,
season 1, season 2 was released on Blu-ray and 4K.
Yeah,
there's not been anything after that because I think Netflix realized, oh shit, we keep hemorrhaging membership.
Yeah,
but people love rewatching these things, so we just won't release them on physical.
You fucking
They have
assholes.
to keep the subscription to watch it again.
Yeah. Or get another trial subscription and cancel it as soon as it's
That's
done.
why I just finished up Stranger Things yet again.
I can set up as many emails as I have to. I have no problem with that, motherfuckers. It's a good show. It's as far as home invasions go, this one is probably one of the more tense. And the reason I say that is because the main character is deaf and mute. So that adds like that creepy silence that really builds into it, you know? Because I mean, if you remove the weird music and the creaky floors and the shattering glass from the strangers, you're really not left with much. Or even if you take like the quippy one-liners away from Your Next, it's more of a comedy, you know. But this one, there's a lot of questions that don't get answered, but I don't know if I want the answers. You know, who is this guy? What's his problem? Why is he fucking around out in the woods?
Yeah, and on his crossbow, he had like scratches.
Yeah, kill marks.
Looked like a little kill marks.
Yeah.
And he was up to like a good 13 maybe.
Something like it. Yeah, more than a few up there. So, I don't know, man. Great show. Definitely check it out. I guess you can't buy the Blu-ray or anything.
Nothing.
Fuck.
But you know a guy.
I do know a guy.
And he does good work.
He does. I love it. We're going to take a break, dudes. We'll come back to you with some other stuff.
Hey, inmates. If you like what you hear, head over to the Padded Room Facebook group and support us through the Patreon link with a small monthly donation. Check out the T-Villain link at paddedroom.podbean.com and grab some t-shirts. Thanks for listening and enjoy the rest of the show.
And we are back, Jason.
Yep.
Yes, sir. I'll tell you what, my friend.
Tell me.
If we were being home, if you're going to... How do you live out in the woods, secluded like, and not own a firearm?
I agree.
You know?
Yeah.
You would think that would probably come with the house.
Again, I think mistake number one, way too many windows. I get it. You want to see the trees.
Yeah, I think that was a selling point.
There's no security there.
None whatsoever. Just even if you're not thinking about like weirdos with neck tattoos, bears. There's bears out there. You know, and if you're or I guess impaired like she was, dude, you got to have like a life alert. I've fallen and I can't get up.
Yeah, something.
Something.
Yeah, for sure.
What are you going to do? Bear gets in the house. She won't even know.
You can't trust Wi-Fi alone.
And you can't trust bears.
Man cannot live by Wi-Fi alone.
There's fucking bears. I heard they're attracted to ladies' periods. I don't know if that's true.
What do you got, your period?
What is it, your period? All right, my man. You ready to get into the Terradome?
Yep.
Let's do it.
No tears, please. It's a waste of good suffering.
I'm not gonna hurt you. You didn't let me finish my sentence. I said, I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash your brains in. I'm gonna bash them right the fuck in. I'll kill you all. I'll drive you crazy. I'll kill you all. My worst dream come true.
6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face, with blackish eyes, the devil's eyes.
Welcome to the Terradome.
Jason Harrell, we are about to announce the Inferno Conference Championship. You ready for this?
Yep.
As usual, inmates, bear with me. I'm not much of a writer. The house was falling apart. The boards on the doors on the doors and the windows were doing their job, but they wouldn't last forever. Frank was running out of time. The creatures arrived somewhere out in the countryside. They immediately began reproducing and attacking. Before a month had passed, most of England had fallen. They were small, black, rodent-like creatures with sharp teeth and huge appetites. Before the TV went dead, news reports claimed that they were extraterrestrial in origin, but none of that mattered now. There was one doorway left for possible escape, the toy maker's box. Frank didn't like the idea, but time was running out, and those things were out there. Alone he sat in the attic, candles quietly burning about him. He picked up the box and began to open it. In team's competition, we have the Critters versus the Cenobites, Jason. What do you think of that?
Man. That's an interesting one. Wow.
I don't know. See, theoretically, you would think that the Cenobites could be overrun. There's nothing to suggest that they're anything more than physical flesh and blood, albeit highly gross and full of S&M type paraphernalia.
I'm going to go with Critters.
I think I'm going to go with the Cenobites. And the reason I say that is because the only time we've ever seen the Cenobites actually get banished or removed is when somebody figures out the toy maker's box and closes it. Mm-hmm. There's no way a critter's going to figure that out, man. There's no fucking way.
Hey, what? Have you seen those cute little hands?
Hey,
they can figure it out.
Fingertips in there. Get out of here, man. I am going with the Cenobites. Jason's taking the critters. That's your Terradome matchup for the weekend, mates. Get us your votes by next week if you can. The mental health hotline is area code 775-387-0275. Or you get us on the regular old email at thepaddedroom2011@hotmail.com. Or you can send us pictures of your boobs. You can give us zodiac horoscopes if you like. We're interested in that sort of thing. We're happy to dispense relationship advice. Neither one of us has been all that successful in relationships, to be honest with you, but we're happy to wax poetic either way. While you're thinking about that shit, how about some, what are you looking at, Jason?
What are you looking at?
I got one movie in this week. It's Mandrake from 2022. Have you seen it?
Nope.
It's newly streaming on Shudder.
Mm-hmm.
Irish witch sacrificing children in a very white trashy kind of a way.
I'm sold.
I guess if it's Irish, it can't really. It's Irish trash. Is that a thing? Green trash. I don't know.
Ginger trash.
Ginger trash. I don't know. I don't want to stereotype Irish people or something like that. But it's very Rob Zombie by way of Northern Europe. I guess
right.
if that makes a lick of sense to anybody. It's not a bad show. I don't want to give away the ending because there is kind of a twist in there. The stuff that goes down with the kids is a little much. I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
That's all I'm looking at, Jay. What do you got?
Oh, let's run through these since it's been a while.
Sure.
Alone in the Dark, which we'll get to.
Okay.
Father Stew, which was good.
That's the Mark Wahlberg
Yes.
one. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Rewatched The Black Coat's Daughter. Finally picked that up on Blu-ray.
Nice.
Hush. Who Invited Them? That was on Shudder.
Yeah. What do you think of that?
Little lackluster, but overall, I was happy enough with it.
Okay.
Shudder is really good for that.
Yeah.
I'm happy enough with it.
Okay. Nothing wrong with
compared to Screenbox.
Yeah.
So I picked up the 7-day trial of Screenbox so I could watch Terrifier 2.
Right.
Man, they got shit to watch. It's fucking terrible.
So I downloaded it, and I was flirting with the subscription.
Yeah.
Because I think it's like $15 a month.
Damn, really?
Yeah. It's not the end of the world, but
Shudder is one of the best bangs for your buck.
Yeah, you can't do
hands
any better.
down.
Yeah, you can't do any better than Shudder, I think. But the cool thing about Shudder, all the Shudder originals get physical releases.
Yes, they do.
They love us, dorks.
So Who Invited Them? Mom and Dad, which I forgot to bring your copy.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm stupid and bought
How dare you?
Two
Get
different versions of it. Let's see. And Terrifier 2.
What'd you think?
It's a very solid movie.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's from what I hear, it's got everything we want.
It's really, really long.
Over 2 hours.
Yeah, well over 2 hours. Loses a little something there towards the end. Not because of the pacing, just because it brings in some elements that are a little wacky.
Oh, boy.
Santa's Little Helper from 2004.
He doesn't have operatives, does he? Art the Clown?
No.
If he's the head of some fucking corporation and black helicopters come in to rescue, it's going to be a little weird.
And Mila Jovovich comes flying in.
Shit. Art?
Santa's Little Helper from 2004, which is a decent enough movie, but man, is it painfully slow. And a movie that I watched for the podcast, but never got a chance to talk to you about is Dashcam.
Okay. Oh, that's right. We did that 4 or 5 weeks ago.
Because the money, I believe, was on me absolutely hating it.
Now, before you give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down, would you agree in my assessment that the opinion of that movie is going to teeter entirely on the main character?
I think a good chunk of it has to do with the main character.
Right.
But I mostly think it's not the personality per se of the character. I think it's the political and ideological leanings of the main character.
Okay.
Because if you jump onto reviews on IMDb and shit like that, where it's rated really low,
I'm sure it is.
I really think a lot of those are because of like her take on COVID and
her hat,
masking.
She
and
has a hat,
all of that shit.
Yeah, and she brought a hat with her.
Yeah, and a MAGA hat.
Look out for that fucking hat, boys.
So, with that said, 8 out of 10 all day long.
Wow!
I love this movie. Sarah loved this movie.
Wow!
I want to own this movie.
Look at you!
This was a fun movie. I love her. I really like the character.
Okay.
Mostly because of a lot of her leanings.
Okay.
But also because I'm a huge fan of dick and fart jokes.
Oh, she's got them.
And making my own sick beats and rhymes.
She's got those
that basically call everybody just, I make lots of like raps and stuff about people taking it up the ass. So she's actually that's where she kind of started.
Right.
They found her doing that on YouTube.
Okay.
And they said, "Hey, this would make a good movie."
So that she actually does
this is a real person.
Okay.
That character is. She did say that it's kind of an exaggeration of her.
Okay.
But I've now, since then, I did a pseudo deep dive.
Sure.
She's pretty much that chick.
Nice.
She actually has that raps in and drives show.
Okay.
And that's where the director saw her. And he formed this whole movie around.
I love it.
Around that.
I love that about her.
But she does lean towards towards a lot of those beliefs and stuff like that.
I don't fault her for it.
So no. Now I did disagree with some of her like behavior.
Sure.
Like while we're definitely aligned in many ways, I'm not a fucking asshole to just John Q. Public. Well, she's a bit of an asshole. She's just an asshole to a lot of people for no good reason.
Okay, so we had this discussion in your absence. Mm-hmm. Alan, I think, watched it, and he hated her.
Yeah, he did. He hated her.
He hated her, and I don't know if that was because of her political leanings or just because of like the dipshit decisions she made.
Yeah.
Now, my stance, I rather enjoyed it, and I rather enjoyed her. Political leanings notwithstanding, I don't care which way she slings. I just like her sick beats and her raps.
Oh, it's hilarious,
especially with the end credits. I thought it was.
Oh
great.
Yeah, it's great.
But my stance on, regardless of what we now know to be true, and that she is in fact this influencer or YouTuber type, in the modality of the live stream, you're going to make those bad decisions just to keep eyeballs on you. You know, so like not unlike that. What was that other one we watched with the guy in the house?
Deadstream.
Jeez,
you can't remember shit.
I can't. I'm losing it, man. But like he was stuck in the house, but the eyes were already on him.
Sure.
So he probably, in the interest of like, if he just like went into the corner and got into a fetal position for 12 hours, nobody's going to watch.
Right.
That's why he's up moving around.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't. I'd be terrified. And much like with her, stealing her friend's car, doing his Uber Eats job for him for no fucking reason. And then this, what do you think that was, a vampire? Or
honestly, demon, I was leaning more towards alien.
Okay.
Especially, there's not a lot to really base that opinion on. It just seemed to kind of have tentacles and shit there towards the end.
Okay.
But also in like the live chat, people were saying, oh, that location that you're at is it's like one of the UFO hotspots or something like that.
Oh.
Now, I don't know if that was just people talking shit in the chat or if that was supposed to kind of plant a seed.
Right. I'll buy that. Either way, I dug it. I thought it was, even alien interaction withstanding, I thought it was funny.
It was funny when it wanted to be funny.
Yeah.
And it was also just really intense and action packed, and there was just a lot of kooky shit going on. And I appreciated that.
Me too.
I thought it was a really fun ride.
I enjoyed it quite a bit. I'm glad. I thought for sure you would have hated it.
And listening to her take 10 minutes to just basically say that everybody, in the credits when she's like, so-and-so's a pedophile, so-and-so's taking it up the ass, so-and-so's a rapist.
With a fat dick.
Right. It's fucking, it's just hilarious.
Yeah, just as she's driving around.
Yeah.
Right on, man. I'm glad you enjoyed it. You threw me for a loop for that one. I thought you would have hated it. You have very little tolerance for wacky people, and I thought
you could have just said people
in general, but wacky people especially.
Yeah,
right on, man. Well, speaking of immersion therapy, why don't we jump into this week's?
Bye.
Immersion therapy.
Dude, I tried and I tried. It took me like five times to actually make it all the way through the movie.
Yeah.
Early 80s pacing and some of the most ridiculous characters you've ever seen in your life. I got a little bit
How
of
dare you besmirch Dwight Schultz?
You mean Howling Mad Murdoch
himself
from the original A-Team? I got a little bit of a chubber when I saw him pop up, and then he played the biggest pussy in the entire movie.
Yeah.
That's kind of disappointing. And then you had Donald Pleasance.
Being very Donald Pleasance.
Very, I'm Dr. Loomis's weirdo gay brother, and I'm just going to give these psychos whatever they want, whenever they want.
Yeah, and his delivery of his lines was just really, really bad.
It's like they told him to do his best Richard Simmons impersonation or something. I don't know. I don't know what was going on there. I think Martin Landau was probably the preacher. He was probably the best part of the whole movie.
Yeah.
Because there's something about that guy that just gives you the heebie-jeebies to begin with.
Man, Jack Palance is so level 9 Jack Palance in this movie.
Oh, yeah. Right from the get-go. Dr. White!
Lots of
happy trails.
Pauses with his breath.
That guy looked like he could kick anybody's ass at any given time. He's like 60 years old in this movie.
He's so angry.
I would not fuck with him for the world. Oh, man.
All in all, there was something. I don't know. There was something. This is not a good movie, but at the same time, there was something about it that like kept me actively watching it.
The way they telegraphed the guy who won't show you his face.
Yeah.
And naturally, at the end, it's the sister's boyfriend.
Some rando.
That just shows up who happens to have the same hair color. And
funny enough, I had completely forgotten that guy was even part of the movie because they had.
So you thought he just freaked
out? He just ran away. And I'm like, because it was quite a while before that got brought back into play.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh fuck, I forgot he was a guy.
Oh, that threw you for a loop, I bet.
It did.
Probably made the movie better.
I'm like, hey, nice, That
guy just freaked out for no reason.
That's a great reveal.
Started spitting blood at the sister. Fucking psycho. It's just that early 80s pacing, man. And if the movie had started maybe with the blackout instead of the 40 minutes leading up to it with him trying to be the good doctor and get to know all the patients and all that horse shit, man, oh man. It's hard. It's a hard one to get through.
There was one scene that was actually really, really like visually cool, and it's when like the gigantic, like that big guy.
Oh yeah, the pedophile guy.
Yeah, when he like picks I think he's like a security guy at the hospital.
The little black guy?
The little black fella.
Yeah, and breaks him over his knee.
Just breaks his fucking back.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it looked really good. Like, it really looked like he actually hoisted that fucker in the air and then just snapped him right across his leg.
That part was pretty cool.
Yeah.
If we could have started there, start with the big escape. Spare me the family drama with the sister and the concert and all that horse shit. But that was early. That's early '80s pacing for you.
Yeah,
we need to get to know and.
Very odd ending too.
Yeah, Jack Palance just goes to the concert,
hooking up with some
and then
like
pulls a gun,
hot punk chick,
pulls a gun on her, and then she's like, "Yeah, you're cool," and he's like, "All right,
look at your face."
Put my gun away, I guess. And
she's like, "Hey, face, don't you remember me?" I'm like, "Did I miss something where he was called Face?"
And no, nobody remembers you. Where did you come from? What is this? I don't know, man. Like I said, it was a hard one for me.
Yeah.
All right, inmates, your immersion therapy for this week is going to be Auntie Lee's Meat Pies from 1992.
The title alone gets 2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs right in the meat pie. Starring Pat Morita and Karen Black, of all people. Find this bad guy
If ever there was a power couple.
Oh, totally. Find this bad guy streaming on Tubi. Check that shit out. We will do the same and compare notes next week. But now you must educate me.
Educating Miss Monica.
First, my clues from last week. Jason, I am a money-grubbing whore.
You are.
I've married my way into a rich family, and I'm pretty happy with that. Unfortunately, my husband just died without writing me into the will. So what I'm going to do is cover up his death, sink his body to the bottom of a lake, and go to the big family reunion as if nothing ever happened. Hopefully I can endear myself to these nut jobs and get out of here with a payday. Unfortunately, the dead bodies start turning up, and turns out I might be next. Dementia 13, my man. If you haven't seen it, it's definitely worth a watch. 1964, if I'm not mistaken. It's a pretty good, more of a murder mystery than a horror type of a thing. Shows up in a lot of public domain box sets also. I think it is public domain. I don't know. Who might I be this week, you ask?
I do ask.
I do too. Well, I am a bit of a scumbag.
Agreed.
Agreed indeed. And I've rented a yacht and a camera crew, and I'm looking to make a quick buck down at the local lake I'm trying to make like a Girls Gone Wild video is what I'm really trying to do. I got a bunch of well-endowed young ladies. Most of them are actual adult film stars. And they're going to come down there, and I'm going to get them all liquored up. They're going to take their tops off, and I'm going to get myself a compilation video to sell on late-night TV. I really hope that the local flora and fauna don't invade and start eating these young ladies and probably sink my rented yacht and mess up my spray tan. Because if they do, I'm broke and I'm probably dead. Who might I be, you ask? Tune in next week and I'll drop some knowledge on you, baby.
All right.
In the meantime, Jason, it has just come to my attention that you had something else you wanted to bring up.
We didn't discuss Barbarian.
You also watched
Barbarian. Which both of us have seen.
What did you think of that one?
I was very intrigued. So much that I watched it the next day again.
Okay.
I was really, really, really hooked on the first act.
Okay.
Because, I went into it completely blind.
So did I.
Had no insight to this movie at all.
Yeah.
So that really helped hook me for that opening act. Because I had no idea. I'm like, okay, clearly somebody's a bad guy here.
Yeah, totally.
Is it the dude? Is it the chick? I had just as much reason to distrust one as I did the other.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I had no reason to distrust either of them.
Exactly.
But that it's so drilled into our heads, being horror movie fans, that I was just like, okay, it has to be one of these people.
Yeah.
So I was caught completely off guard. Very shocked at the abrupt end to Act 1.
Yeah.
And then the pacing changed to like Act 2 with Justin Long. Really kind of yanked me out.
Okay.
And then kind of not the wraparound, but I guess it kind of could be a third act, if you want to call it that. What gets revealed looked a little wonky to me. The big-titted monster.
Clearly CGI, right? Had to be.
I think it's a dude in a suit.
It could be.
Yeah, I know it's played by a guy.
Oh, okay.
In a big-titted chick suit.
I wonder if that suit's for sale.
Or at least for rent.
Maybe I could.
With that second viewing, like everything is lost on you.
Right. You know where you're going.
You know exactly. The suspense of that great opening act is no longer a thing. Now it's just like a 40-minute time span where two people are talking.
Right.
With zero suspense.
And there's a little bit of character development there, but nothing that's going to be pertinent later in the movie.
Yeah.
This is kind of, once upon a time, you and I made a movie that I wrote. And this is kind of what I had in mind for that movie. A movie that starts in the middle and then takes you to the end and then gets you back to the beginning. Didn't really work out for us, unfortunately. But that's what I kind of felt like with this, is that you start with the base idea, and then you wonder how we got there. But before that, we have to finish that idea out, and then we can talk about how we got there. And that's kind of what it did. I guess if I had a problem with this, when we get to the Justin Long part, it almost becomes a comedy at a certain level.
And I do not like comedy in my horror movies. And up to this point, I had a tense movie.
Yeah.
And then I am slapped right in the face with like lightheartedness, bright oceanfront scenery, Justin Long, who's a ray of sunshine on Earth.
Totally.
So it really yanked me out. Hard to get me back to that place. And because then it starts kind of revealing some stuff about him, some dark stuff, but then it also like throws in like, this levity about him.
Yeah.
He's, kind of an aloof character in a way.
Right.
But then the movie just has so many unanswered questions. So many unanswered questions. Like, where's everybody else down here?
So
if it's been roughly 40 years of all of this breeding and inbreeding and breeding on top of inbreeding, like where is everybody?
I don't know.
I don't either.
So, I'm not, I don't know. And I don't, without a sequel or a prequel to this, which I don't think we need, because they're kind of all included in this nice package. So my understanding was that, without giving too much away, the guy that we see in a lot of Rob Zombie movies was some kind of a serial abductor and ended up breeding. And then this ogre was one of his progeny.
Right.
Probably killed or ate or whatever other progeny were down there, but somehow kept him alive for 40 years in that subterranean situation.
So, seriously, this is... It has to go into spoiler land, and I'm not trying to eat up too much of your time with this.
No, it's fine.
But I really feel like these are really just gaping holes. Because the whole premise is this she-beast wanted nothing more than to be a mother and to take care of some offspring. So there's no way it cannibalized the babies.
Well, on the other hand, it's clearly, other than that bizarro VHS tape that was playing on a loop down there, it would clear that lady, ogre, whatever you want to call it, clearly would not be able to care for a newborn. So
I imagine if it threw a temper tantrum crying, she'd probably bash its head up against the wall.
The Skarsgård treatment.
Right.
So,
but at the same time, that dude stayed alive all those years. Clearly somebody was tending to him, which I assume was her.
Exactly.
If she can tend to him, why can't she tend to other things?
Tending to a full-grown man is a lot easier than tending to an infant. So that if I had to try to explain it, that would be my rationale.
Yeah.
But if you just start, the thing that really appealed to me about it, and I enjoyed it, I liked it a lot, I'll probably pick it up on Blu-ray, seeing that Detroit neighborhood, which is a complete wreck, and one immaculate house right in the middle of it, that alone is the grounds for a good horror movie. Yeah. I'm already in at that point.
And a lot of people were kind of touting its originality, but at the same time, I couldn't help but get Don't Breathe vibes.
Yeah, totally.
Set in Detroit, a very empty Detroit.
Yeah.
You've got some weird shit going on, subterranean.
Yeah.
So I really got some vibes off of Don't Breathe.
I think there needs to be more horror movies in Detroit. That is like the perfect place. If you can do it without getting stabbed or something. That's the hard part, I guess.
I still enjoyed it, but unfortunately, I don't think it has a lot of rewatchability.
No, and like you said, the gravity of that initial is kind of lost once you've already seen it.
You bet.
I feel the same way about Get Out. Mm-hmm. Once you know the ending, it's the magic is kind of lost. That's just my opinion. Anyway, yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Barbarian.
Yep.
Good show, I thought.
Give it a watch.
In the meantime, inmates, I think that's about going to do it for us. Thank you very much for listening. Join us next week for The Guest here in Alabama Month. Like, comment, subscribe wherever you found this show. That helps our visibility quite a bit. We do have a Patreon campaign running. Support.paddedroompodcast.com, I think. Yes?
You kill me.
He's laughing. That means I did good. $5 donation gets you a shirt, a travel mug, some pornography, control of the month of December as of right now, and a very cool thumbs up from me and Jason. What else do you need in your life? In the meantime, I think that's going to be about it for us. For Jason Harrell, Buddy in Absentia, weird rapists from the early 80s that keep chicks locked up well into their middle ages and possibly breed with them so that they can roughhouse Justin Long. People out in the woods, get a gun. Even if you're not a gun person, you should have one. There's fucking bobcats out there.
You should at least have like a flare gun.
Get something. You need a gun. It doesn't have to be like a rocket launcher or anything like that. But if a bear or even a family of rabid raccoons gets loose in your garage,
they're not messing around.
You got a fucking problem on your hands, and you're not going to solve it with a baseball bat, dude. And the Padded Room Podcast, I'm afraid visiting hours are over.
Bye.
I want to know how to survive in a nightlife. Want to know how to survive in the nightlife.
Why don't eggs tell each other jokes? Because they crack each other up.